My parents want my sister to walk down the aisle at my wedding first, so my husband pretends to go along. He gets them to pay for the most expensive wedding, and their plan is ruined. My parents loved my sister more. I don't mean in subtle ways either. If my sister accused me of something, they'd believe it and punish me. If I accused her, they wouldn't believe me. Even if there was undeniable proof, they'd still give her a lesser punishment and try to find a way to scold me in tandem. My birthday cake had to be a flavor she wanted. Hers did not, and my parents always denied knowing I didn't like that type of cake. They always bought her a bit more than for me. We went to where she wanted, even if it was an event that should be about me. My sister grew up spoiled and didn't like me. She just used me as a punching bag. Eventually, my mom came to talk to me about my impending graduation. She told me that since they were paying for my sister's college tuition, they had no money to pay for mine. She told me that since they were paying for my sister's college tuition, they had no money to pay for mine, so it would be better for me to start working immediately. If I stayed home, I'd have to pay for all my stuff, bills, and rent. I pointed out I could get student loans. Mom said yes, except no. Because they were so caring and I had bad judgment, they would decide if a college was worth my debt. They never believed in my capabilities or knew my grades. I never believed they would pay if I waited for my sister to graduate. I had been preparing for college, barely going out with few friendships, giving me time to study. I studied because college was my only chance to be free. I worked hard and got a full scholarship at a decent college. Knowing my sister would try to stop me via my parents, I announced my achievements on social media simultaneously as I told them, even forcing myself to thank them in the post. They weren't happy but couldn't do anything. College became my savior, and I started being happy. I met my husband around this time. He's the guy who claps back immediately and loves resolving drama. If he doesn't reply to a slight, you should worry because he's planning something worse for revenge. When discussing marriage, we decided to focus our budget on a dream European honeymoon rather than an elaborate ceremony. After sending engagement announcements, my parents demanded to meet him. My parents and sister sat him down and after grumbling about not being okay with him, proclaimed they would pay for my wedding, with one condition. My sister would walk down the aisle at my wedding first, in a wedding dress. Their excuse was it wasn't okay for a younger sister to marry first, so she should at least have the experience. My husband returned to them, saying he probed and thought I wouldn't agree. However, he pretended he didn't see the issue and would help them do it. He suggested they help pay for the wedding to make me feel pressured not to say anything out of gratitude. Thus began months of deception, with my parents and sister thinking they were tricking me, while my husband and I were milking them. Rather than paying and laying low, my parents wanted input on everything. We'd select inexpensive options, then my husband would secretly take my sister to try them, sighing that we didn't want to exploit my parents' goodwill. My sister would demand the best, and my parents would offer to pay for the most expensive options. We did this with drinks, menu, photographer, and flowers. For my dress, they wanted me in something hideous, but we had other plans. My husband and I, who had considered a courthouse wedding, now had an extravagant celebration and barely spent a dime. We called it back pay for emotional damages. Their plan was to have my sister arrive when everyone was seated and walk down the aisle before me. What they didn't know, we hired security. As guests arrived, they saw only someone checking names. After my parents were seated, we positioned a bodyguard with instructions to block my sister, offering a handsome tip for discretion. When my parents got a text that my sister was minutes away, my dad told everyone to start. After the bridesmaids took their places, he stood at the entrance waiting, but I appeared instead. He looked aghast, tried glancing behind me, then his phone rang. It was my sister. He mumbled, "Something came up," and left me standing there. Amid gasps and confusion, my friend loudly asked what happened. I tearfully lied that he'd said, "It wasn't supposed to be me there." My friend shouted, "What did he mean by it shouldn't be you?" Ensuring everyone heard, then ran off to check, creating a distraction to prevent my dad from stopping the ceremony. My mom also left. My husband's father quickly took my arm as planned and walked me down the aisle amid whispers. When I reached my husband, I felt better. Later I learned what happened. My sister arrived in a wedding dress, but security refused entry. They blamed my husband, who was summoned. He feigned confusion, denied agreeing to anything so ridiculous, and demanded proof they couldn't provide. My sister had a meltdown, screaming and crying on the floor. Everyone who came to investigate tore into my family. After years of being disbelieved, watching them taste their own medicine was delicious. My mother cried, my father's face alternated between purple and white, and my sister remained on the floor throwing a tantrum. Group chat begging my family for help, as I was now being harassed by them constantly. He begged his family to help stop them from trying to ruin my honeymoon now that they had failed to ruin my wedding. My family assured him they'd take care of it. And indeed, since then, we've had silence. All in all, while I obviously would have preferred to have a normal, loving family at my wedding, at least for once in my life, they not only failed to ruin something meaningful to me, but I got them back.